The Comedy of Errors, As You Like It, Much Ado About Nothing, Henry V, Measure for Measure, Macbeth, Othello, Hamlet, जूलियस सीजर, एंटोनियो क्लियोपैट्रा, इनमें से कुछ ना कुछ नाम तो आपने ज़रूर ही सुना होगा। एंड अगर आप आईसीएसई और आईएससी बोर्ड से हैं तो आपने द मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस और द टेम्पेस्ट का नाम तो ज़रूर ही सुना होगा। तो ये सारे जितने भी नाम मैंने अभी लिस्ट आउट किए ये सारे शेक्सपियर के वर्क हैं और इनमें से एक वर्क टेम्पेस्ट के बारे में हम आज बात करने जा रहे हैं। बट बिफोर स्टार्टिंग दैट आई वुड ऑल्सो लाइक टू स्टेट दैट मुझे पर्सनली लगता है कि किसी भी राइटर के वर्क पढ़ने से पहले हमें उस राइटर के बारे में जानना बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है, ताकि हमें एक इंसाइट मिल सके उसकी लाइफ में, उसकी थिंकिंग में। बट अभी के लिए फ़िलहाल आई विल नॉट बी टॉकिंग अबाउट शेक्सपियर। उसके लिए एक अलग से वीडियो आएगा, जो कि बहुत बाद में होगा। एक वीडियो आएगा जहाँ पे आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट शेक्सपियर, हिज लाइफ, हिज वर्क एंड हाउ हिज वर्क हैज़ अफेक्टेड लिटरेचर। इतने सारे राइटर्स होने के बावजूद भी शेक्सपियर का नाम इतना ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट क्यों है, इतना ज़्यादा प्रोमिनेंट क्यों है उनका वर्क, इस चीज़ को हम समझेंगे। साथ ही साथ हम ये भी जानेंगे कि उनके वर्क में ऐसा क्या है जो हम अपने स्कूल के सिलेबस में और कॉलेज के सिलेबस में भी, मतलब कि सारे लेवल्स में हम उनके वर्क्स को पढ़ते हैं। तो आई बी मेकिंग अ डिफरेंट वीडियो ऑन इट। फिलहाल के लिए विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट टेम्पेस्ट। और टेम्पेस्ट में इस वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे अबाउट द टाइटल, इट्स अप्रोप्रिएटनेस, और साथ ही साथ हम बात करेंगे अबाउट द कैरेक्टर्स और थोड़ा बहुत हम प्लॉट्स और सब प्लॉट्स के बारे में भी बात करेंगे। सो हे गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल लेट्स लर्न विद सिम। तो आज का सेशन हम स्टार्ट करते हैं विथ टेम्पेस्ट एंड इट्स टाइटल। तो अगर हम शेक्सपियर की वर्क के बारे में बात करें तो उनके वर्क में कोई ऐसा पैटर्न नहीं है जो वो फॉलो करते हैं अपने टाइटल्स के लिए। जैसे कि इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट ओथेलो, मैकबेथ या हैमलेट, तो वी फाइंड दैट दीज आर द नेम्स ऑफ द हीरोज इन द स्टोरी। तो ये सारे जितने भी वर्क्स हैं ये सारी की सारी ट्रेजेडीज़ हैं, और इन ट्रेजेडीज़ में जो भी हीरो है उनके नाम के ऊपर ही टाइटल को भी नेम किया गया है। अगर हम नोटिस करें ट्वेल्थ नाइट या फिर एज यू लाइक इट की, तो वहाँ पे ये नाम बस प्योरली ऑडियंस के अटेंशन को ग्रैब करने के लिए दिया गया है। यहाँ पे भी कोई स्पेसिफिक पैटर्न नहीं दिखता हमें। और अगर हम बात करें हेनरी द फिफ्थ या फिर हेनरी द सिक्स्थ की, तो अगर कोई ऐसा बुक है जिनमें रूलिंग अथॉरिटी का नाम है, तो वी फाइंड दैट ऐसे बुक्स में थोड़े बहुत हिस्टोरिकल रेफरेंसेस ज़रूर हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि इन बुक्स में उस रूलिंग किंग या क्वीन या फिर जो भी रूलर है उसके लाइफ के बारे में लिखा गया है या फिर ये स्टोरी उसके बारे में है। देन वी डेफिनेटली फाइंड सम हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट्स या फिर सम पार्ट्स ऑफ द स्टोरी इज इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम द रूलिंग पार्टी, फ्रॉम द रूलिंग किंग। तो ऐसे ही ये कुछ वर्क्स है जैसे कि हेनरी द फिफ्थ एंड हेनरी द सिक्स्थ। तो अगर हम बात करें टेम्पेस्ट की, तो वी फाइंड दैट देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ क्योस एंड कन्फ्यूजन। बहुत सारे लोग अग्री करते हैं इस टाइटल से और बहुत सारे लोग अग्री नहीं करते। जो लोग अग्री करते हैं दे आर्ग्यूमेंट दैट दिस प्ले स्टार्ट्स विद टेम्पेस्ट। तो स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द प्ले वी सी अ शिपरेक एंड दैट शिपरेक हैज़ ऑकर्ड बिकॉज देयर इज दिस टेम्पेस्ट। नाउ आप सोचेंगे कि ये टेम्पेस्ट क्या है, तो टेम्पेस्ट इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स इज अ वेरी वायलेंट स्टॉर्म। नाउ द थिंग हियर टू बी नोटिस्ड इज ये जो स्टॉर्म है वो नेचुरल नहीं है, इंस्टेड इट इज कॉज्ड बाय मैजिक। और ये मैजिक कौन कर रहा है? इट्स प्रॉस्पेरो। तो वी फाइंड दैट ये जो भी स्टोरी है ये शिपरेक से स्टार्ट होती है एंड दैट शिपरेक इज कॉज्ड बाय दिस टेम्पेस्ट। तो इसीलिए कुछ लोग अग्री करते हैं दैट टेम्पेस्ट इज द परफेक्ट नेम फॉर दिस प्ले, बट सम पीपल टोटली डिसअग्री टू इट एंड दे स्टेट दैट जो भी ये स्टोरी स्टार्ट होती है ये स्टार्ट होती है टेम्पेस्ट के बाद। तो टेम्पेस्ट शुड नॉट बी द नेम फॉर दिस प्ले। तो आई थिंक अपने अपने ओपिनियन में दे बोथ आर राइट, and there is this confusion and chaos, and obviously you have your opinion. So as a literature student you also need to understand that there is nothing right or wrong. Literature आपको एक opinion form करने का तरीका ही सिखाता है। You need to understand and accept opinions from others. You need to understand others' viewpoints, others' perspective, but then at the end of the day, you need to have your own opinion. You need to form an opinion. तो ऑब्वियसली जब भी आप ऐसे लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें आपको आर्ग्यूमेंट्स मिलेंगे, उसमें आपको अलग अलग डिफरेंसेस मिलेंगे। नाउ इट टोटली डिपेंड्स ऑन यू कि आपको क्या लगता है सही और क्या गलत। एंड देयर इज actually there is nothing wrong or right when you are diving into literature. It's just about your point of view, your perspective. So you have this kind of freedom in literature. Now talking about this, I would also like to note out that ये एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है जो कि स्कूल्स में यूजुअली आता है, स्कूल लेवल में आता ही आता है, एंड इट्स फॉर लाइक 2 मार्क्स या फिर कभी कभी 1 मार्क्स के लिए होता है. एंड दे से कि इफ़ यू हैड द चांस टू नेम द प्ले, सो आप क्या इसको टाइटल देते? एज आई सेड, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग और राइट. So you need to understand that when you're giving your own title to a play or any work, it should not be anything very stupid, but something that makes meaning. क्योंकि आपको बस टाइटल नहीं देना होता, साथ साथ में ये भी लिखना होता है कि why do you suggest this title. So if it makes meaning, it's well and good, and you get full marks for it. It's not like oh आपने ये नाम दे दिया and like they will cut it and like you won't get any marks. Of course you are gonna get marks, but you need to also make some sense out of it. You cannot just write something that is very nonsensical. So once the title makes sense to you, makes sense to others, even if they agree or not, you get full marks for it. तो ये आपको freedom मिलता है and you can name whatever you want to. You have this freedom. अब आगे हम बात कर लेते हैं कैरेक्टर्स के बारे में. सो फर्स्ट आई लिस्ट आउट ऑल द कैरेक्टर्स. सो सबसे पहले आई विल बी लिस्टिंग आउट द मेन कैरेक्टर्स एंड द सेकंड मेन कैरेक्टर्स. आई मीन द कैरेक्टर्स दैट प्ले वाइटल रोल्स बट दे आर नॉट एज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज द मेन कैरेक्टर्स. एंड उसके बाद आई लिस्ट आउट अदर मियर कैरेक्टर्स जो कि इतने इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है बट यू स्टिल नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वो क्या करते हैं एंड क्या नहीं. So the main and important characters in this play are Alonso, Ferdinand, Sebastian, Prospero, Antonio, Miranda, and Caliban. So these people are very important. आपको इनके बारे में सब कुछ जानना है because there will be questions. 3 मार्क्स के 5 मार्क्स के questions भी आ सकते हैं about these characters. You need to analyze their character. तो ऐसे questions भी आ सकते हैं. Now the second main important characters are Gonzalo, Adrian, Francisco, Trincalo, Stefano, and I would also like to add one more name that is important, that is Psychorax. Now, Psychorax is not physically present in the play, but she does have history. So, there is this subplot about her and Caliban. Now, she is the mother to Caliban and she was an evil witch. तो इसलिए उन साइकोरैक्स के बारे में जानना भी थोड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. सो यू नीड टू नो अबाउट साइकोरैक्स और उसकी हिस्ट्री. एरियल इज एन एरी स्पिरिट. सो ये स्पिरिट है बट देन इट स्टेज विथ प्रॉस्पेरो एंड सर्व्स प्रॉस्पेरो. बट लेटर वी फाइंड आउट दैट देर आर अदर स्पिरिट्स जिनको बस एक ड्यूटी परफॉर्म करने के लिए बुलाया गया है एंड इन्हें एरियल ही बुलाता है. एंड दे आर आयरिस, सीजर, जूनो, निम्फस एंड रीपर्स. और भी कुछ कैरेक्टर्स हैं जो कि इतने ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है बट वी सी देम इन द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द प्ले when the play is just unfolding after the shipwreck or before the shipwreck. When the shipwreck is actually happening, so we see them. We see master of the ship, then we see boatswain, and we also see the mariners. So इतने ही कैरेक्टर्स हैं. बाकी I'll be discussing about them in detail. So let's talk about Prospero. Prospero is the main character here. अब ये स्टोरी भी रिवॉल्व करती है प्रॉस्पेरो के अराउंड ही और ये स्टोरी स्टार्ट हुई है बिकॉज ऑफ प्रॉस्पेरो. नाउ प्रॉस्पेरो इज द राइटफुल ड्यूक ऑफ मिलान. What that actually means is that there is a place named Milan and he's the rightful duke, he's the rightful king. अगर आप पहले के रूल्स देखें तो इट स्टेट्स और इट सजेस्ट दैट किसी भी किंगडम में जो भी एल्डर सन होगा ही विल बी द नेक्स्ट रूलर नो मैटर इफ ही इज केपेबल ऑफ हिज ड्यूटीज और नॉट. सो यहाँ पे भी कुछ सिमिलर केस है. सिंस प्रोस्पेरो इज द एल्डर सन ही इज राइटफुली द किंग but he is so much involved in magic and he kind of neglects his duties. और ये सारी duties और सारी responsibilities कौन fill करता है is his brother. And now brother kind of feels that when I am taking up all the responsibilities, when I am performing all the duties, I should be the rightful king. So now ये thought उसके mind में कहीं ना कहीं and also the greed for power and wealth kind of makes him betray his own brother. So it so happens that Prospero, along with his daughter, end up in an island. And यहाँ पे they stay for like 12 years. And Prospero kind of studies his magic and practices magic. And यहीं पे ये story unfold भी होता है because after this shipwreck, the passengers, the workers, the kings, they all are divided in 2 different groups and they are at 2 different parts of the island. We also see that the shipwreck is caused by Tempest, and Tempest is caused by magic. And who is leading this magic is Prospero. Now, we might think that, oh, this person has evil thinking or evil intentions, but that's not the truth. Prospero wants to use his power for positivity, happiness, and prosperity. But he also has this thinking that he needs to take revenge from his brother. And the revenge does not have ill intentions, but just for his brother to understand that he did something wrong. For him to regret, for him to understand that his intentions were wrong, his deeds were wrong. And it's purely from and it's purely caused from the intention of making him regret, not hurting or harming him. We also see, and this is a very important quote, you need to mark this. So I quote unquote, the rarer action is in virtue rather than in vengeance. Now this quote is very important. अगर आप टेम्पेस्ट को अगर आप whenever you think about टेम्पेस्ट, ये quote आपके दिमाग में automatically आ जाना चाहिए. Now this is very 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 important. Or this comes from Prospero. Now what it actually means is, the rarer action is in virtue rather than in vengeance. So someone has wronged you, and like you have been betrayed. So but the greater action still here is to forgive. Instead of taking revenge, you need to forgive them, because that is the greatest action that you can take. Because when you forgive a person without taking any revenge, that person is filled with guilt, shame, and kind of that is more fearsome. That is something that will eat them up from inside, and that is more powerful. That will have a more powerful impact than that of physically harming them. So this is what Prospero thinks. He also says that the person who has wronged you should understand that they have wronged you and regret it. But then you should not punish them physically or like mentally or like cause them harm. You need to forgive them, because that is the greatest action. Now let's talk about Miranda. So Miranda is the daughter of Prospero. Miranda was set out in the boat along with Prospero at the age of 3. So, since I said that they have lived on the island for 12 years, we also kind of understand that she is a 15-year-old girl now. She is in her teenage, adolescence phase. So, we see that she is having this feeling of love, attraction, and everything seems new to her. And the feeling of meeting a man, the feeling of being in love. So, everything is very magical and dreamy for her. We also understand that she is rightfully the princess of Milan, and she's supposed to be very sophisticated, well mannered, and have a lot of mannerisms in her ways of talking, her ways of walking, and her ways of action. But since she has not been given any proper education, any proper attention, we also find that she is kind of a girl who is wild. Understand mannerisms. She's kind of wild, and she's just exploring herself since she's very unaware of all these feelings and all of these mannerisms. Now, she here falls in love with Ferdinand. So, Ferdinand is the son of King Alonso, the king of Naples. So, basically, he is the prince of Naples. And what we see is that he is a young man who has come to this part of the island because of the shipwreck. And he kind of also finds Miranda very attractive. Now, Miranda is a very naive and innocent girl. She knows nothing about mannerisms, she knows nothing about how a man is to be treated, how a person in general is to be treated. But Ferdinand somehow is attracted to this wildness of this girl. He has never seen anyone this pretty, he has never seen anyone this beautiful, and he is very much attracted to her. So, what we see is that they both fall in love with each other, and we also find a subplot about these two characters. So, basically, they are the characters that fall in love at first sight, and at the end of the story, they end up getting married. So, now let's talk about villains. We have three villains in this story: Antonio, Alonso, and Sebastian. So, now Antonio is the uncle of Miranda, he is the brother to Prospero, he is also the ruling king of Milan. So, what we find here is that he is the same person who has betrayed Prospero and Miranda. And this person too has ended up on the island after this shipwreck. He has a friend named Sebastian. Sebastian is the brother to King Alonso. He too is very, very, very evil at heart. He wants to betray his brother Alonso again, and he wants and he seeks for power and freedom. We also find that he is also the uncle to Ferdinand. As I said earlier, that Antonio betrayed his brother Prospero. Similarly, Sebastian too wants to betray his brother Alonso. He wants to murder him and gain the kingdom to himself. So this person too has ill intentions, and we also see that he kind of tries to murder Gonzalo. Now, Gonzalo is a very, very noble counselor who is very loyal to his king Alonso. So we see that in the story, as the story develops, we see that he, along with Antonio, tries to murder Gonzalo and also his brother Alonso. Talking about Alonso, Alonso is the king of Naples. He is the father to Ferdinand and brother to Sebastian. He too had ill intentions. He is one of those people who has betrayed Prospero, but kind of regrets it. He has this guilt. And he loves his son a lot. And so is the son. The son too loves his father a lot. But what we find here is that after they both have been separated on the island, he is very much devastated and he wants to meet his son. And when he's not being able to meet his son in his devastating state, he is filled with guilt, he is filled with remorse. And then we also see that Sebastian kind of tries to make him feel more guilty by saying that, remember what you did with Prospero. The same thing has hit you. Basically, indicating that the same karma has hit you because you wronged someone else. Now the energies or the world is uh, doing or putting you in the same state, doing wrong with you. So you have lost your son because you wronged someone in the past. So this is how we see that Sebastian is very manipulative. Sebastian is one of those people who tries to manipulate and gain power. So now we have the character of Caliban. Caliban is not purely a monster, but a deformed figure. He is described as someone to have very scaly skins like those of fish, but he is not actually described very well. He is a being who is not fully a human and not fully an animal. So we can say that he is not fully developed, or we can also say that he is half developed. This person is a mix of two things, human and animal. And when we talk about his intentions, he has ill intentions. He is uncouth, he's unmanaged, ungroomed. And we see that he also has ill intentions towards the daughter of Prospero. In one instances of the story, we find that he tries to impregnate Miranda, which is found out by Prospero. And Miranda, being a very naive girl, does not understand what Caliban was trying to do, but yet feels very uneasy and is very bothered by his behavior. When the father, Prospero, comes to know about his intentions, he becomes very strict with Caliban. He is to punish him by giving him more work that is very hard to do, that is very rough. He starts treating him very rough. Starts scolding him, starts beating him, whacking him. So this is what he does. This is how he starts treating him. And he also believes that since he is a monster uh, and a son to an evil witch, he should not be treated in a good way. He should not be treated like how other humans are treated because he does not have that thing in him. Now, here we also find a very important concept of nature versus nurture. Now, this question is also very important, and it also, is repeated every other year. The concept of nature versus nurture. So, this is a very important question, and that kind of talks about the characters of Miranda and Caliban. So these both are when you talk about them, Miranda and Caliban were both like kids to Prospero, but one turned out to be very naive and innocent, whereas the other is very wild, which kind of also states an argument that some things are inbuilt, some things you get from your parents or the person who took care of you earlier. So those things are so much engraved in you that no matter how much you try, those things cannot be changed. So here we find the concept of nature versus nurture. So very, very important topic to be noticed. Other than that, we have the character of Ariel. Again, my favorite character. So when we talk about Ariel, Ariel is not a human, instead a spirit. Now, Ariel is said repeatedly to be the airy spirit, and this spirit has a power, the power to penetrate the earth, dive into the sea, and also to fly. So, we see that this is a magical being, a magical creature who also has magical powers. Now, he was tied to a pine tree by Sycorax for 12 years, and Prospero is the one who frees him and agrees to set him free, truly set him free, after some of his work is done. So Ariel has been working in service for Prospero for a very, very, very long time. He repeatedly reminds him time and again that Prospero needs to set him free, but Prospero says that once his work is done, he will surely set him free. And Prospero kind of has very, very soft corner for Ariel. He does not treat him ill like he treats Caliban. He treats him very well. He treats him with love, respect, and care. So this is also a difference between, three different beings, the three different beings. The one of Miranda, the one of Caliban, and the other of Ariel. So when you're talking about nature versus nurture, you can also add some points from Ariel has magical powers and can perform magic. We see that Ariel is also like Prospero and he's very good at heart. And he has some musical powers, and the music of him can only be heard by people who are also good at heart. And in this whole story, we just have two people who are actually good at heart and who has positive intentions towards others. And they are Ferdinand and Gonzalo. And due to this reason, Ferdinand is led to the cell of Prospero where he meets Miranda and falls in love with her. And due to the same reason, Gonzalo wakes up at the moment when Sebastian is trying to kill Alonso and saves him from being murdered. Let's talk about Gonzalo. Gonzalo is a very noble man. He is mid-aged and he is very loyal towards his duties towards his kings. So when there is this instance where Sebastian is trying to kill Alonso and Gonzalo, he magically wakes up. Now that magic is created by Ariel again. And he wakes up and Sebastian fails in his mission to kill Alonso. Now we have two more characters, and they are Stefano and Trincalo. So Stefano is the butler of King Alonso, and he's a drunkard. After drinking liquor, he loses his mind and creates comedy. The other one that is very important is Trincalo. Now, Trincalo is a gesture. So, as we know that kings earlier used to have dancers and musicians for their entertainment purpose, they also used to have jokers, gestures, and who could perform for them and make them have a good time, make them have and make them have some entertainment. So, Trincalo is the gesture. Now, what we see is that since this story is very tragic but does not have a sad ending, so it cannot be considered a tragedy. Instead, it is considered widely considered a comedy because we have these characters time and again creating comedy and bringing out laughter to cool down the situation. So there is this chaos and confusion right from the beginning of the story. We have this tempest, we have this shipwreck, and we find about all the evil deeds and pasts of these people, their ill intentions. So we just need to lighten up the moment, and we have these characters, the characters of Stefano and Trincalo, who are creating comedy and making the situation ease a bit. So these characters are present there to fill out the comical aspect in the story, in the play. So these people do not have any positive or negative intentions. Instead, due to their stupidity, due to their foolishness, they create this happy environment, they create this positive environment. So this is all about Trincalo and Stefano. Now, I would also like to talk about other characters, and they are Iris, Ceres, Juno, Nymphus, and Reapers. Now they are spirits, and they are called at the marriage of Ferdinand and Miranda, so that they can bless the couple for their life ahead, for a healthy and happy life, for prosperity. So, like in marriages, before getting married, we kind of offer our prayers to gods, and we seek for their blessings. The same thing is being followed here. What does is he invites the spirits so that they can bless the couple with abundance, fertility, good health, and good wealth, and furthermore happiness. Overall, we see that they are blessing for their good life and good future and good married life ahead. So I think this is all about the characters. The other characters, like I said, like the master of the ship and boatswain, so they are not very important. They just play some role. We have their monologues or some dialogues in the first part of the play, so they are not as important as these characters. So the main characters in question that can carry good marks like 3, 5, sometimes even 8 or 10. So the character analysis usually arc star of Prospero, Miranda, Ferdinand, and sometimes also Antonio. So these are the important characters. Now, when they are asking questions about other characters, they usually ask about Caliban, where you can write about how his nature is very different from that of Miranda and Ariel, how he is a son to an evil witch, how he has landed on this island, and how he kind of also seeks revenge from Prospero, because he believes that this island rightfully belongs to him and not to Prospero. Instead, Prospero is an invader who has been capturing the place, and now also kind of forcing Caliban to work and treats him ill. So this is the thinking of Caliban. So you can also write about Caliban in a very descriptive way. This is a very very important character, and um, you can learn a lot about his character from his actions, from his words, from his duties, and also from comparing him with other characters. So yes, I think we should end the video here. If you like the video and if this video was helpful, please make sure to like the video, and if you're new to this channel, please make sure to subscribe. Furthermore, I'll be making detailed videos on all the acts, so stay tuned for more. I hope this video was helpful. Till then, keep studying, and yeah, all the best for your exams if you have any.